Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review and demo of the brand new Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. This had its worldwide launch 2 days ago on Friday the 13th of October. Unlucky for some, maybe. So I went and picked mine up from Selfridges in London. It has launched in Selfridges in London and Selfridges online. Selfridges in Birmingham are handing out samples at the moment, I believe, because their section is still quite new, so they will be getting it at some point soon in the future. This costs £32 and it is a 35ml foundation, which is almost unheard of. I don't even think most people have picked up that this is 35ml. That is a really good value for money, especially because most foundations tend to be 30ml and charge exactly the same or similar sort of price. Let me just read what it says on the box. High coverage cream foundation, effortless application, camouflages imperfections and pigmentation, soft focus filter finish. Hence the name Faux Filter. She wanted to create a foundation which obviously made your skin look in real life like it had an imaginary filter all over it. That is obviously what we all want. We all want to hide all our lumps and bumps and imperfections, and we want to look lovely and beautiful every single day. Now, I know that there were, I think, altogether about 30 shades. Correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember off the top of my head, but she has talked about releasing more shades later on, upping it to about 40. I went into Selfridges in London on Friday with Selena, Miss Beauty Addict, my friend off of YouTube. If you follow us on Snapchat, obviously you would have known what we bought and how our experience was. To be honest, I couldn't, it's very difficult when you're in Selfridges or shopping to snap and this and that at the same time and answer people's questions, which is why I've done this video a lot sooner than I normally would do. Now, I have worn this. It's not that I haven't worn it and tried it and tested it. I obviously had it on part of my face on the day of the launch, wore it throughout the night. Then yesterday I wore it all day, way into the night. So I have given it a nice trial run. Not as long as I necessarily would have liked to do for a foundation, but I do appreciate that there are lots and lots of people out there that want to get their hands on this. Because obviously it's Huda Beauty. She's an amazing brand. I love her. I think she's got a wonderful personality. I love her enthusiasm, her love for her brand, and how much she tries to help people. The only criticism, and unfortunately is a very big criticism, that she tried to be too helpful and came out with a shade comparison chart the day before the launch. Now, many people would have used that comparison chart to then colour match themselves to try to buy their shade online, obviously without being able to see it in person. The shade comparison chart was not even a little bit wrong. It was 100% wrong. She put on there one of the shades is a MAC NC46 and in NARS is the shade Barcelona. Now, I use Barcelona and I'm an NC40, and when I use Barcelona it's normally in the winter months when I'm at my palest. So can you explain to me how an NC40 and NC46 are the same? It is so wrong, and so many unfortunate people would have used that chart to then buy this first thing in the morning because they were so excited, etc., and bought the wrong shade. And they don't know that yet because they haven't received theirs in the post. Like I said, I was there on launch day, so I was able to go to the stand, match myself, and come away with a shade that I believe to be the best or the closest match. So, Huda, I know that you tried, but I think you made a really big mistake in coming up with that comparison chart. The launch, this is not a criticism of Huda Beauty, this is a criticism of Selfridges. What a mess you guys made of that launch. It was so disorganized. They had a stand in the corner which had all the foundations all over the place. Nobody directing anything, helping anybody. They were just scattered all over the place. We wandered over to the other side because after swatching things on our neck, and because this foundation is very thick and the lighting in Selfridges and like all other department stores is just not that good, I swatched a couple on my neck, on my hand. I was like, these look too light, I can't tell, blah blah blah. So we went over to the other side where they were doing, with artists, shade matching. I will say that the lady who helped me, can't remember her name, she was absolutely lovely. So this is not about her. The other people that we could hear. I'm so tired, my feet hurt, I'll finish at 8, I'm making sure I leave dot on 8, blah blah. So unprofessional. If you want to know about what it's like to work somewhere really busy, try working in a toy store over Christmas. If you're tired, you're tired. That's job, that's life, that's work. We've all been there, done that. Get on with it. That's it. That's all it is. Now let's talk about the shade ranges. According to Huda, there is a shade for everybody. Well, guess what? There ain't a shade for me. So therefore, there ain't a shade for everybody. Now the shades are split into fair, light, medium, tan and rich, and they are mixed between they've got, if it says G next to it, it means golden, so golden undertones. N for neutral, R for red, and there's some B's in there which I assume is beige undertone. I don't know, I'm just guessing. So apparently there is meant to be enough for everybody. Now I found it very difficult choosing my shade because obviously there weren't any swatches online. Now in MAC, I am an NC40, in NARS Barcelona. In Too Faced, I use either sand or golden. Makeup Forever Ultra HD, I'm Y385. So just to kind of give you an idea of the shades that work for me best, I just got another foundation the other day, the Stila Stay All Day foundation. My shade is in medium 9. So I'm very yellow and golden undertoned, if that's a way of saying it. So I tried out 3 different foundations based on their undertones when I was in store. I tried in the medium section, I tried Baklava, which is 340G, Dulce De Leche, which is 350G, and then Macchiato, which is 400G. I swatched all 3 of them on my hand. I swatched them on my underneath on my chin. They all appear to be too light for me, which is really weird because I found Macchiato 400G to be the lightest of the other 2, but the other 2 are 340 and 350, so why would 400 be lighter? That doesn't make sense. Then the next shade on is Brown Sugar. I swatched that underneath here. It was like a brown splodge underneath my chin. And I did assume that it would work for somebody who is an NC42, but again, I don't think so. I think that it's too warm for an NC42. Maybe if you're an NC43, it may work if that's even a shade. So that means that NC40 and NC42 in MAC have been completely missed out altogether. So Huda, I know you want to create some more shades. Please consider something in between those 2 because it is a very big drastic jump. Somebody who is an NC35 will be okay, but then the next jump onwards, Brown Sugar, is nearly an NC44. But when I've had it on my face and the lady applied it with the primer, then with the brush and blended it in, and we looked at it under the lights, which are crap, it seemed to be okay. When I applied it all over my face yesterday, to me it was quite obvious that it was a little bit too light. I can probably just get away with it, but it's going to be difficult and I'm going to have to really pile on the bronzer. This is a very highly pigmented foundation. It's not one of those ones where even if it's a little bit light you can just about get away with it. You can't because it is that pigmented and that strong. It is a very full coverage foundation. You only need 1 layer to cover your entire skin. No concealing is needed, nothing like that. Now apparently it's for all skin tones. If you have got dry skin, I would be dubious. I have a patch of eczema right here and the foundation clung to it like a little toddler scared his mum's about to leave for the day. Yeah, it behaved like that. If you've got any dry patches, it will cling to those dry patches. So if you have got dry skin, please bear in mind that they may happen. So what I would suggest you do, even if you do want to try the foundation, maybe apply a drop of face oil to it so that it becomes a little bit more malleable on the face. I believe that it also emphasizes any extra bumps or lumps that you've got on your face as well. Thankfully at the moment I actually don't have any spots. The only problem I've really got is this eczema here, which I'm trying to deal with, but other than that, that's it. From what you can see here, this is hair dye. I dyed my hair just like 20 minutes ago, so I'm going to be using this to cover up the bits that I've managed to get all over my bloody ears and in other places. But I've got general redness to my cheeks. I've clearly got pigmentation marks from when I had spots. I've got a little bit of darkness as well, but nothing that this foundation can't cover. This foundation is very, very, very matte. I actually find it a bit too matte. And I think it gives a very nice flawless kind of finish, but it's almost too matte. There's literally no give to it. If you've got oily skin, you may like this quite a bit. I've got normal to combination skin. I've got dry areas and then I've got an oily T-zone. And when I wore this all day yesterday and into the night, it seemed to really hold up really well. I don't find that it moves around on my face. I find that it oxidizes after about 2-3 hours slightly, which helped me a little bit because obviously it is a bit light for me. It doesn't dry down dark like the Fenty one. It oxidizes after about 2 to 3 hours of wear. Now it's not very thick, it's quite runny, but its texture reminds me a lot of the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation, which, as you guys know, is fairly thick. This is what the bottle looks like. It looks like a glass bottle, but it's not. It's a plastic bottle. I like the bottle. It's got nice, clean, simple lines. I understand that Huda created it to look like a glass bottle to give it a more sophisticated look, but created it as plastic to make it more travel friendly, lighter, that sort of thing. When you open it up, it's got a nice, decent pump inside, which I like. So overall, in terms of the packaging and everything, I quite like it. In case you didn't hear what I said, my shade is Dulce De Leche in 350G. Will I repurchase this foundation? Probably not, because the shade isn't right for me and there is no shade for me. The next shade up, it's like this. Really light to dark. Where's all the in-between shades? Apparently this brand was a shade for everybody. There isn't a shade for everybody. I'm quite close to Huda's skin tone, yet I can't even get a shade. So that's going to leave out a massive chunk of people. I'm not willing to go and buy brown sugar and then go and mix it with this to get my right shade. That's £32 times 2. Ain't going to happen. I ain't spending £64 for one foundation. Now, I would overall give this about a 7 out of 10. I think it's pretty good, but it's not amazing. I think that it's been hyped up too much considering it's only been out 2 days. I think that you need to be very wary of those people who have only just bought it and put up a first impressions review without actually trying it properly. You will see that this is a little bit light for me. I'm telling you already, is a little bit light for me. I've been able to make it work by contouring and everything, but I don't really feel that I should have to do that. So what I'm going to do now is first I'm going to prime my skin. My face is already moisturized and everything. I'm using the silicone primer from The Ordinary, the Abnormal Beauty company. It's going to put up on about that much. Obviously I've got my eyebrows done, so I've got a bit of concealer around. So if you see something moving, that's what it is. My face has suddenly just gone very red. I go red really quickly, as you can see. Look at my face, oh my god. Red face. Okay, so the brush I'm going to use is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. You can use any kind of buffing brush. You can use a beauty blender as well. I find these thicker brushes a little bit better. If you use a looser kind of brush, you're going to find it quite difficult to blend because, like I said, you only need one layer of this. It is quite thick, again, which is why I do not recommend swiping it on your neck and trying it in store. You need to have it blended in properly so that you can see exactly what it looks like blended in. A thick swatch is just going to show because it's that pigmented, basically. So I've just put 2 pumps and I'm going to dot it all over my face. Let me just show you what the colour looks like on my hand. Bear in mind my hand is obviously a very different colour to the rest of my face and my neck. You can also see how runny it is. A little bit runny, not too much. Okay, so now I'm going to blend it out basically. Now, one thing I do have to say, it's got a really, really strong perfume smell. I don't like it. Now, there will be those of you out there that absolutely love the smell. This smell reminds me of a perfume that my mum has. I don't know which one it is, but it's so strong and the smell lingers. It doesn't go, which really gets on my nerves. After a while it goes, but right now I can proper smell it, and it's like, I just don't like foundations which are overly perfumed. It's like a really strong, very heady kind of smell. So personally, I'm not a fan of it. Right, so here you can see it's all blended in. Really, really good coverage. Blended into my neck, but you can see, or you should hopefully be able to see, it is a little bit light for me. And it is that kind of a little bit too light, which I don't like. Because it's such a thick foundation, it's one that you can't even try and hide the lightness of it. And I'm one of those people who would actually prefer to have a slightly darker foundation if there isn't a shade for me, rather than a lighter one, because darker one you can kind of disguise a little bit more. It can make you look like you've got a little bit more of a tan, whereas this makes you look like you're a little bit more ill. So once it's all down, it's tacky on the skin. It's not soft. You do have to powder it down, whether you've got dry skin, whether you've got oily skin, or whether you have got combination skin. I'm going to be using my new Too Faced Peach Perfect Mattifying Loose Setting Powder, which is infused with peach and sweet fig cream. This is also scented with some sort of terrible attempt at a peach smell. So all these smells on my face are making me feel a bit... And I'm just going to quickly do my under eye concealer first. So now I'm just going to set it with the peach powder. Very, very lightly. Okay, now that I've applied a light dusting of the peach powder on top, now my skin feels so soft. But I know that that is as a result of this, not this. This does not do it on its own. I know you may have heard that it leaves a nice soft finish. No, it doesn't. It leaves a very tacky finish, especially if you use primer underneath. And you should always use primer. At the end of the day, she is not just selling this foundation on its own, she's also selling a primer and a brush. I did test out the primer. It's okay, but I've got so many other primers. Alright, so let me just finish off the rest of my makeup and I will come back and finish off the review. Hello everyone, I'm back. My face is done. On my lips I'm wearing Huda Beauty's Icon liquid lipstick, which is one of my favourite liquid lipstick colours, so I wear it a lot. Anyway, so I have used a bit of bronzer, especially in this area here, to kind of detract from the fact that it's a little bit fair for me, and I think I've kind of made it work. But kind of made it work is not ideal for me. I want it to work perfectly, but unfortunately there just isn't the right kind of shade for me in this range. And if you are an NC42, more than likely there isn't either. And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really tend to transfer. Right, let's check. There, there's nothing there, which is, I was a bit scared because I've just put on a new t-shirt. The transferability is similar to the Estee Lauder Double Wear in that it doesn't really come off. I don't find that it moves around a lot. I also found that my face tends to stay matte pretty much throughout the day. Now I do have to say this is very different. This is a HD, this is a DSLR camera. This is not how the normal human eye views things. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, okay, I can see why it's called faux filter. I literally look flawless. I look like I've got a filter over my skin, and considering I'm somebody with textured skin, that's saying a lot. Another thing that I have to say is that I don't know if you can see up close my eczema patches where it has clung to, which is slightly annoying. I don't like the fact that it's accentuated. I don't always get that with my other foundations. Now I did take a photo outside at night with flash. There is flashback. Again, have a look at my Instagram page. You'll see the photo of me wearing my bat t-shirt. Look at my skin color compared to my neck. That is flashback. Even with contouring and everything, and the fact that it's nighttime, the flashback is intense. And another thing, as much as this is a very matte foundation and you do get that faux filter effect, you look unnatural. You don't have that natural skin kind of glow that you want to have, as well as having flawless skin. That's it really. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and demo. Like, comment, subscribe. Please feel free to let me know if you've got any comments or questions below in the info box. I'll try and get back to you ASAP. This video is being filmed on Sunday the 15th of October. It is going to go up today so that it will be helpful to you guys. That's the reason why I've done this video so quickly. So hopefully you will find this video useful in your purchasing decision. If you've got any more comments or questions, feel free to let me know below. I'm going to post this photo of the makeup on Instagram as well. Please feel free to go and have a look at it so that you can see what it looks like in beautiful natural light. It's a lovely autumn sunny day in London, so the light and the way that the photo was taken has come out perfectly, exactly the way that I like it. So I will link it below. Follow me on Snapchat so that you can follow me around for the rest of the week while I'm wearing it, because I am going to be wearing it in different conditions as well, in central heating. I'm sure that we'll get some sort of rain at some point soon as well. So it will be interesting to see what my thoughts are, and you can ask me any questions in my video. Feel free to do so, and I will definitely try to get back to you. Other than that, what else can I say? I hope you guys are wonderful and great, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.